to Oilers Nation every day with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Day 15 of talking about a Darnell Nurse trade. Let's get into it with the lead. I think it's Dave. At least I think so.
It's something like that.
It feels much longer.
Yeah, it's kind of Groundhog Day over and over again, and we hear the same teams, and we wondered, would this be the weekend? It was not the weekend for Darnell Nurse.
It was the weekend for me.
It was. It was. How you feeling? How you doing after that big bachelor party, buddy?
I'm still tender today, in all transparency.
Tender.
My body
Tender.
is randomly like shivering at points.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So that's a good sign. It was awesome. It was a really fun weekend. My buddies killed it with the stuff they wanted to do. Shout out my friend Greg. He's going to be my best man. Mm-hmm. He did. I honestly don't know if I could have imagined a better bachelor party.
Really?
Like, the stuff I had. It was so fun. We went to a bar and watched the England game, and obviously I was dressed as one of the
There were very
King's
few
guys.
pictures that leaked. But one of them was with everyone in an England kit, and you and some others went, I would say, the full Monty, as it were.
Yeah.
Not that they stripped down, but that you painted up.
It's painted up,
Yeah.
So my friends really bought into it, which was fun. A bunch of us had our faces painted with England flags, and some guys just they made T-shirts and stuff. It was really funny. And when we got to the bar, there was quite a lot of England fans there. And we started doing chants. And if you watch the game, Panama scored, but it was offside.
Yes.
So naturally, I started a wanker chant in the bar. And
Naturally.
The whole bar started pointing at the TV and doing it. It was awesome. It was so much fun. So that was great.
And England, wasn't
not
looking good
It was terrible.
for a long time.
Such a bad game. Oh, the Ducks and the Panthers made a trade. We'll get into that. First, let me do some ad reads, Pat. First one, Bet365. We're good? Yeah?
I think so. It's frozen, so keep going.
Okay, this is a presentation of Bet365, not the frozen part, the good part. The worst thing about hockey season ending is that at some point, the worst part about the hockey season, at some point it ends. There's a lot of time between now and the first puck drop of next season, which feels like an eternity for those of us used to nightly games. The good news is Bet365 still has plenty of games, just none that require lacing up your skates. At Bet365 Casino, you can choose between hundreds of slot games, live tables, and your favorite games. Well, maybe your second favorite games. You must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. I'm going to be honest. A lot of these ad reads are going to be rough today. I have a sore throat.
Well, we'll give you grace, I guess, for how tender you are. So
one other one. Give me 1 second. Welcome into the Sports Closet Studio, of course. Check out their 3 locations and more for all your efficient licensed team apparel or sports collectibles for all major leagues and official sports merchandise for and apparel for every fan. 3 locations: Shore Park Mall, St. Albert Mall, Kingsway Mall, St. Albert Center. You can shop online at sportscloset.ca. Someone asked if you can do the ad reads.
I can, yeah. Share the doc. I'm Michael Menzies, by the way.
Yeah, hey, Michael Menzies is here.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, whatever you need. I'm pitch hitting. Obviously, we've got 2/3 of the regular O&E crew that are...
They're gone.
They're gone for the big free agent program.
Yeah, they headed out to Toronto today. Somehow, Tyler and Aaron got out of doing the show after my bachelor weekend, and I was the one that got stuck doing it. Mm-hmm. So that's funny.
Because greater work awaits for them.
Oh, interesting. The Oilers just released their development camp roster.
Yes.
Chloe Primerano? Is that how you say her name? She is She was drafted by the Vancouver Giants 13th. Around the Western Hockey League, plays for Minnesota Duluth University, I think. Invited to the camp. She is an incredible hockey player. I didn't know. Oh, Abby Murphy also invited. Interesting. So the Oilers have invited 2 female skaters to their camp. 2 Incredibles players as well.
Interesting.
Especially Chloe. I remember watching her when she was at the Burnaby Winter Club at the John Reed many moons ago. Braden Lefkowski would have been another player on that Burnaby team.
I see Johnny Hicks is one of the goalies. Who was a Brooks Bandit for a while, and there was
what an incredible career he's had, to be honest.
He had a very interesting junior tenure from the BCHL and whose rights were owned where, and there was a whole lot of
because he was that good that people wanted him back.
Yeah.
Other camp invites. Oh, there's another female. Sorry, I'm kind of reading this on the fly. Caitlin Kramer. Another one. So they invited 3 female skaters: Caitlin Kramer, Abby Murphy, and Chloe Primerano, I believe is how you say it. Those are 3 invites. The only other camp invites are Johnny Hicks and Weston Cameron, who is, I believe, Kitchener Rangers pick. He might have got traded as well, but your other typical faces at the development camp. There's no date on this yet. That might come out later on in a release. So, but usually this is there it is. Usually this is open to the public. Starts tomorrow till July 2nd.
Yeah. So they were headed July 2nd to Thursday. Yeah. So they were headed right to Edmonton. It sounds like right after the draft. Rick Pracey talked about that a little bit in his avail, but it's right afterwards. They waste no time right after the draft.
Because everyone wants to get to the summer.
Yeah.
And get moving.
Yeah.
We will get into some draft stuff. The Oilers did have some qualifying offers today as well. In the press release, Zach Lang pointed this out. It says there are 5 qualifying offers, but there's only 4. I don't think we figured out who the 5th guy is yet, or if it's a typo, but Spencer Stasny, Colton Dock, Roby Gervais, who did sign in Europe, and Owen Michaels all had qualifying offers. The Oilers, I guess, released. Jason Bloom, was that the one name?
Josh Bloom.
Bloom and Matvei Petrov, which I was a bit disappointed in. I thought, not that they released him, but that Petrov never kind of found his footing as a pro, because he looked like a really promising prospect when he was playing in North Bay Battalion, I think he was, in the OHL after he'd come over from Russia. It seemed like the Oilers got a bit of a late prospect there, 6th round pick, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, back-to-back seasons of 90-plus.
In the OHL,
90-point-plus years, and then 3 years in Baco, and hasn't really popped. Like, he played 38 games this past year with the Condors, 5 goals, 12 points. Disappointing because at one time there were hopes of, did they find a late round pick that could actually pop with some offensive talent? He will be off elsewhere, free to sign. I wonder if he goes to Russia.
Yeah, back to Europe maybe. I would suspect. I mean, unless he goes to a different organization. But the Oilers now do not own the rights to anybody from that 2021 draft, which actually looked, to be honest, somewhat promising at one point. But if I'm not mistaken, this was the last draft for Tyler Wright, I think. I think this was the last one.
So I think 22 was the last, and it was August 22.
When he was done?
So a month and a bit after the draft, and they said, all right, you are wrong. Bye-bye.
The Oilers only have rights to 2 of those players from that draft class, too.
Yeah.
So from the 2021 group, it was obviously Xavier Bourgault in the first round, 22nd overall. Luka Munzenberger, 90th overall. I remember watching Munzenberger play in the World Juniors when it was in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this kid's fine. Like, he's got some good size. He can skate, he can make some plays, but it never worked out when he was at Vermont, who's, at the time, the head coach was Jay Woodcroft's brother.
Yes.
And they really swung on Munzenberger that year, if I remember correctly. He was very lowly ranked, and the Oilers took him in 90th overall.
Yeah.
Jake Chason, he was traded away. I can't remember the trade he was. He was a throw.
That was something with Bourgault.
That's right.
To Ottawa for Draventia. In end of 4th. The 4th turned into Lewandowski.
Oh, so it worked out pretty well for them,
right.
actually.
So, Draventia looks to be leaving here to Europe. We don't know that for sure, but he did at least sign.
Like he did last summer, too.
Right. So, I think they're at least extending the QO. And, they might still have time to negotiate with that. Mm-hmm. And then their 6th and 7th beyond Petrov, you had LeChance and Maximus Vlaner.
Yeah. Both gone in the Trent Frederick trade.
So the Frederick and Jones trades, they were gone. So Frederick, I guess, is the lasting legacy with a prospect still, and Lewandowski that couldn't. We'll see.
It does feel fitting that Trent Frederick is the one that's carrying the burden now for the 2021 draft.
He has to shoulder that, and then every time you see Jesper Wallstedt, you
Yeah.
think, oh, what could have been? What could have been?
What could have been?
COVID drafts, difficult. 5 years ago now, and that's where even you look at like this past weekend. Okay, there were draft grades given for the Oilers, etc. You can grade them now on what different rankings have players. You know, what do the scouts think? What do pundits think, etc. You can relate it to that. Otherwise, really what you're doing, you have to wait.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that's the draft.
That's the point of it, yeah. Did you find any of the grades by chance? Because you wrote about the 2021 draft, right?
Well, so I wrote a bit about that, yeah, just because there were so many players that have been traded here in the past 2 weeks. 8 of the top 34 picks in that 2021 draft were traded in the last 2 weeks. And about 7 or 8 more have been traded in the past year. So you got almost half of the top 34 picks that aren't on their teams anymore.
And this was, I remember the time, I know it was obviously the COVID one, felt like a good draft. Like it felt like there was a lot, and I think there is a lot of good players. It's just interesting that so many have already moved on.
They've been used as chips, and obviously Mason McTavish, the highest player up there, was traded this
overall,
weekend.
yeah.
2 firsts. And it goes on and on. Eklund was traded 7th overall. Only 4 players in this first round didn't play a game. Haven't played a game yet.
Oh, and Tyler Boucher, 10th overall, one of them. So it's Tyler Boucher, Chaz Lucius, who obviously had to retire as well, so he won't be playing a game. Carson Kuhlman's, former Brooks Bandit.
Yeah.
And Chase
playing
Stillman. Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't played yet. I thought he was always solid, but I do feel like Carson had there was a lot going on in the AJ at the time, positive-wise, that I felt like teams were like, okay, we can take a swing on this guy, because look how well. But Dardoka turned out, I know he's not the greatest, but he's a good player. Makar obviously being the most famous one, Holloway.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out for Coolman's yet, to say the least.
No. And I know that, you have some of the lasting legacy of, okay, are they finding, not diamonds in the rough, but are they finding defensemen that are going to stick around and play there? Because they want to be on the NCAA path, and that was still the course that was laid out at that time. If you want to play NCAA, you got to play Junior A. And now that those rules have changed, it's really become different. I think Will McLaughlin was the only player drafted who had played some AJ time in this past year, and he's quite an interesting story. Vegas got him in, I believe, the 5th round.
Later on, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's the nature of the beast now. It's different, right? You can all grade up into the higher leagues now, because you're not precluded from playing college.
Yeah.
So
totally. A little bit of Oilers news related stuff, and then we'll get into the full news. Elliot Freeman reporting 2 minutes ago. Toronto is closing in on an extension with Troy Stecher. Sounds like it could be between 1 to 1.5 million. Chris Johnson also reporting that Matthias Michelli will not be receiving a qualifying offer from the Maple Leafs and become a unrestricted free agent. Sorry, so we'll get a bit more into that stuff, but I was away this weekend, which we have discussed thoroughly. I missed a lot of stuff that happened, but we're going to go through like kind of the big signature trades of the weekend and kind of give them a grade and give our thoughts, because there was quite a lot of them.
there were.
Way more than usual, I would say. So let's get into that. The news is brought to you by the River Cree. Rock legend David Lee Roth hits the River Cree Resort and Casino Friday, July 10th. Get ready for a high-energy night starting at $74.99. Don't miss out on tickets. They're on sale now at the River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement?
Bet on it.
Bet on it. Must be 18 plus. Sorry, I copy and pasted. There was an option A to the ad read and an option B. I put them both down.
You melded them together.
I was like, I'm not reading that one again. So there you go. River Cree Resort and Casino, David Lee Roth. Come on, look at him. They're not lying when they say high energy.
That'll be a show. I'm sure he'll He'll probably play some Van Halen hits.
I would assume.
Some solo stuff.
You familiar with his work?
I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, yeah. More so the Van Halen stuff than
than his solo career.
Than his solo career. Of course, had a very public fracture with Eddie Van Halen. Then they made up, and then they broke up. Then they made up. Sammy Hagar replaced him. You know this.
I was just about to say. I was just about to say all of that.
Yeah.
Many of you have noticed I'm drinking a Sunripe juice box, wild berry. You would not believe the sugar in this thing.
You were telling me, yeah.
21 grams of sugar. Do you know what the crazy part about that is? I bet you couldn't fit 21 grams of solid sugar in this juice box.
That sounds like a science experiment, perhaps, for the summer. You could kill time with. You could get that sponsored.
By Sunripe after I criticize the sugar in the juice box. Your kids are drinking these.
Yeah. As I was saying to you, I can't remember the last time I had a juice box.
Me neither, but I saw him in the mini fridge and I'm like, oh, I need something that isn't water.
I get it.
Something I'll get. I was telling him outside that this morning I was making my fiance, but not for much longer. I'm married in a few weeks. A coffee this morning because she's a teacher, so she's done school now. The break's beginning, and it was one of those like Fogels. Is that what they call the coffee company? Folgers. It was one of those vanilla brisket ones, and I'm making it, and the smell is just coming through. And I make this coffee basically every morning for her.
Right.
And this morning, my goodness, that scent was stronger than usual, to say the least. I had to step away. For a while.
You're a little sensitive. The senses are a little sensitive.
Oh, yeah. To say
put
the
it
least.
mildly.
To say the least. It felt like there was a million cars on the road today when I was driving, and my God. Okay, let's
get it. It's going to be okay. We'll get through it.
I hope so. I'm going home right after this show. Grading trades from the weekend. So we can grade them, talk about them a little bit. I have down here, so I just did ones that were, Friday, I guess, afternoon to basically this morning, I suppose. The whole Glamour one is on there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's what I'm going to give. I'm going to give you an out on some of them. If you don't want to grade them because you don't think they're important enough, just say no thanks.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Little Michael Landsberg, next question?
Yeah. Next question.
Yeah.
Olen Zellweger to the Buffalo Sabres for a second-round pick.
I like this trade for Buffalo.
Me too.
I'm biased. I don't know Olen well. Mm-hmm. I've dealt with him a couple times. He will come back to Bonneville.
Is he from Bonneville?
Well, he as a few years as a kid, he grew up in Bonneville. So he would come and train in the summer times a bit in Bonnie. I know a lot of people there are rooting for him. I still think he's got some good upside to his game.
I do too. He was a great junior player.
It's very interesting that Anaheim, with their lack of defensemen, are moving on from Zellweger like this. I believe he's a restricted free agent.
I think so, yeah. Because they've already lost Trouba. They obviously lost Gudas this morning, too. Who is their captain?
Right.
And now they've lost another one.
Right. So they have, Jackson Lacombe, I believe, is their only NHL defenseman that so far has a contract into next year. So they have some heavy lifting to do. I presume that's why they're involved in the nurse discussions, or they have such interest that may go so far as they wouldn't retain. And we've heard that Anaheim wasn't on the list right now. So that makes sense. But I like this trade for Buffalo, especially because they got out of the Kesselring business.
Didn't have to sign him.
Didn't have to do that. And obviously moved from Byram. I think Zellweger's got a little more to give. I like this move for them.
Yeah,
I do.
I completely agree. Do you have a grade?
I'm a hard grader, but I think that's a B+.
Yeah, I was going to say B.
Yeah,
so
something
B+.
like that.
Okay, this was a smaller deal, but I thought somewhat significant in a way. Andre Burakovsky to Chicago for a 6th-round pick. I mean, as a guy, former first-round pick. He's in his early 30s now, 31 years old, but I think he's a consistent... sorry, he wasn't to Chicago, was it?
It was from Chicago.
Oh, to Ottawa.
To Ottawa.
But he is a consistent, 30-point-plus guy. I think you can rely on him to produce most seasons. He's not gonna. He hasn't hit his ceiling by any means. He didn't hit his ceiling. I think he's obviously plateaued now at this point of his career. But to get a guy like him for a 6th-round pick could be worse.
Yeah, well, Ottawa, they're trying to round out their group, and it seemed like there's been a bit of a Euro focus for them. You look at Burke, like 11 goals, 33 points last year. He was a good playoff player, and I wonder if that's Ottawa's thinking here. Like, he had some good playoffs with Colorado.
17 points one year for Colorado.
You know, he's a 2-time Cup winner. I don't hate it for Ottawa. But I think the problem with Burakovsky is he has been a little expensive.
$5.5 million.
So Chicago is loaded with cap space. And this is a cap dump type move. What are they cooking here? What is Chicago doing? I think this is what Blackhawks fans are wondering. They're like, but beyond giving Bo and Byram $15 million a year or whatever they're going to give Byram, like, what are they? I know they have to sign. They have to sign Bedard. He's restricted.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they'd like to get him for max term. Was there like another month you can sign to 8 years?
I think he might be like one of the last good players to get it.
Right, but I don't know if Bedard is just going to sign for 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if that's the way of the Warrior now.
No. So yeah, I thought it was. I don't know what Chicago's doing really.
Yeah, they probably need to find a way to get like a Jason Robertson on the team.
Right.
But now don't have the picks because the draft is over. I mean, they have them for previous year, upcoming years, of course. They have 3 for the next season, so they should be fine if they wanted to do that. But I don't know. There was the Robertson news over the weekend on Seattle, right?
So Robertson allegedly was allowed to talk to Kraken management, and Seattle allegedly offered him about $15 million on a long term.
Right.
And Robertson said no.
Okay.
And then there was talk that the Blues had offered multiple firsts and similar money, and Robertson said no.
So how are Dallas is obviously allowing him to talk to teams?
Yes. There is some talk. Nil is, it sounds like, open to trading him. But Robertson, I get the sense like he wants to stay in Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, and is at least going to go through this process to try to leverage. Then there's talk that Dallas is in on Werenski.
But there's no way Robertson would then waive to go to Columbus.
No, I think that would be a separate type of trade, maybe with Harley.
Interesting.
That's the only way I could really see that working.
Yeah, the Werenski stuff's interesting. I think should also put an end to the American players only don't want to play in Canada. So no, they just want to play on good teams.
Well, Columbus can fill out a great roster of players who have wanted out.
Leave them
over their 25-ish years, unfortunately for them. So,
quickly, just in the comments because we haven't given you guys much attention today on the Robertson stuff. Anthony W. I think I said I'd rather have Marchenko than Robo, cheaper than he has a Blackhawks thumbnail, I guess, or profile picture. Crunchy Nut Paste said, can we please not trade Nurse until after Bob signs somewhere? I don't want Stan to have the opportunity to sign that terrible contract. I don't know if the Oilers actually would have any interest in Bobrovsky.
They apparently had interest in Devin Levi.
Yeah, there was that over the weekend.
That they were in discussions there. Utah stepped up and paid for Kosa. Mm-hmm. They got a first. I don't think that should be ultimately surprising.
No, a late first-round pick, too.
Right? Like, the Kosa, again, his draft position was 15th.
Yeah.
I mean, he did lose the crease last year at the end of the HL season. It was really a 5 or 6 game stretch, it looked like. His numbers were still quite strong. Postava just, seized the net. He had, a 940 that he was cooking. So, I wasn't surprised that they got a first back for a guy that, has gone through his maturation process, seems ready now to take on NHL games consistently. So the Oilers kind of miss out there. I don't know, their crease situation, that's why I've gone back on Ingram. I think they have to keep Ingram in mind, and Ingram was quote unquote bullish on re-signing with Edmonton. I think if you have a 2x3 deal, you have to strongly consider it here. Like I get
think
that
so too.
There's a lot of people, and even me included, that are like, you're gonna run back this.
It seems like a terrible idea.
Goaltending duo,
but it might be their only real option.
But the issue of running it back isn't Connor Ingram. The issue is Tristan Jarry.
Yeah,
that's the issue of running it back.
And maybe you would disagree with me on this. There's no way Jarry's as bad as he was last year, right? And maybe this is just, and people have brought this up.
Is there no way?
I just think 857.
That's pretty bad.
Save percentage is the lowest of lows. Like I don't want to say the only way is up, but it does feel like there should be some increase there. And he had moments. His last game for the Oilers was a good game against Anaheim in the playoffs. And I just think if the Oilers can play any form of defense consistently around him, then I think he has potential to be a perfectly fine goal. I mean, he's proven it throughout his career.
Yeah, I mean, like he's been fine. The Oilers are going to need 2 goalies.
Yeah, regardless,
they're going to need at least 2 for the 82, and 2 goalies are going to be playing games in the playoffs. If we've learned anything, unless you're in the circle of trust of elite goaltenders like Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky at that time, real concerns about, can Bobrovsky still do that at his age? But the names, and even those guys in that circle can struggle in the playoffs. They might need a hand. 2 goalies help, and I know like Frederik Andersen, he's a free agent. I don't know how much Frederik Andersen has left.
Yeah.
And Frederik Andersen is a goalie that you would need to feel very good about the long-term health, about who the other goalie is, because injuries have been a part of his story in the last several years, right? So I don't hate considering Frederik Andersen. Obviously, there's a relationship with Mike Babcock, but right. You're gonna need a platoon, right? A 2, maybe even 3 goalies here.
Well, it might be similar in a way, and they might have to move on from Tompkins, which is obviously fine ultimately, but like, when they brought in Calvin Pickett, it was pretty clear that he was the 3rd goalie on this team. Mm-hmm. But he was like, could play in the league if you needed him.
Right.
And that came with like the level of like, well, we don't really trust Campbell as much. Because I think that came in Campbell's 2nd or 3rd year, whatever it ended up being. So you had a rookie Stuart Skinner early in his career, Jack Campbell, and then Calvin Pickett. And then obviously Pickett came up and played and took out a few years after that. So I do wonder if they go for that approach. And they probably should. You need to know.
Yeah. And that's I think just the nature of it. We're going to hear all the Jarry, like, man, he's in some of the best shape of his life. He hasn't felt this way in years. You're going to, it's going to have to be one of those types of summers, come back in, but I just don't know if Bowman is ready to fall on that sword.
I don't.
Right?
I don't think he is. I don't think he can yet. But I just think what I mean by that is like he already fell on his Mangiapane sword, and it was like that was over with pretty quickly.
Right.
Trent Frederick looks bad, so now
they have to give time there.
They have to get. Do they have to give that same respect in a way to Jarry because of what you gave up?
Right.
Like you can't have your 3 signature moves, like players bringing in, basically be those 3 and all fail. And I mean, like, look, they probably all will when it's all said and done. But you probably got to kind of die with it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Loyal to who said Jarry was fully healthy. I'm just saying that as we approach the offseason here, and there are the reports, there are going to be those types of, those whispers, and they happen to a lot of different players. I'm sure it'll probably happen with Frederick too. That's like, okay, his body feels right for the first time in ages, and so on and so forth.
Garbage,
these type of, that's, I know, he's training in Sherwood Park right now, Jarry.
Is he?
Yeah.
You see him?
No, birdies.
They're really
birdies
tweeting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's keep going through these draft grades. I'll do only the good ones.
What if Jarry is the Vezina year?
Hey, what if he does?
This is what makes sport so compelling. What if he turns it all around?
Then the Oilers will probably have a pretty good season.
And that was not Peyton who said that, unless he's got a new handle. So.
Someone who really watches the Oilers play. Okay, here we go. Couple more here. JJ Peterka, that was a surprising move. 3 first-round picks.
2 firsts and
conditional.
A later, wasn't it?
It was 2 firsts this year, and then a conditional for 28. I read.
Oh, I thought it was 1 for sure, 1 conditional.
Am I wrong? Am I being bamboozled?
I hated the deal for Boston.
Let me show you my work.
Show.
Let me find my tab. I was very surprised by this trade.
I think 2 firsts.
I think JJ Peterka is a good player, but I feel like past 2 summers we've really spoken about JJ Peterka as if he's like a game-changing hockey player, and I just don't think he is. I think he's a good backup scorer.
See?
Yeah,
that's you're gonna have to.
Should I call him?
You should call Bell. Yeah, it was. So I don't like this trade very much for Boston at all. Peterka, I think your alarm bells have to be ringing loudly that Utah paid what they paid.
Yeah.
Peterka said what he said about Buffalo. Seemed so happy to come to Utah. Oh, everything was going so well. This is going to be this great marriage. Utah seems to be trying to make moves to get better right now.
Consistently.
Absolutely. They have a bundle of prospects. Mm-hmm. Just think, they've been trying to add. They did 3 seconds for Uyghur, everything. They want to be a playoff team. 25 goals, 47 points last year. It was a bit of a drop-off from the season before. He's not old by any means. He's 24. He'll turn 25 in January. I just think that's a little steep, I think, for Peterka on the downslope, too. Now
he only had 47 points in 82 games last season.
Yeah.
25 goals. No points in 6 playoff games.
Yeah, he was a non-factor in the playoffs. So I think, Boston's trying to approach this like, are we getting... But you didn't even pay a distressed asset price.
No,
for Peterka.
You paid full price.
So it's just my alarm bells be ringing that a guy that Utah traded, Doan, who might be the better player straight up today, plus Kesselring, and after 1 year are comfortable moving off him. That would send me some warning signals.
Me too. I do think Boston needed more forwards for sure. Peterka, 25 goals isn't nothing by any means on a down season. Daily Faceoff right now has him pegged as a top line winger for them. I would imagine he's in the top 6 either way. So I think they needed the help. I was shocked by when I saw the 2, maybe 3 first round picks. I would give this one a good solid D.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it for Boston.
Great deal for Utah. And then you go and flip one and get Kosa.
Right. You flip one, and, I think they want to make a big splash here, but I don't know. There's still a lot of Jari discourse going on in the chat, and maybe I'm too down on him for the moment. Obviously, his career save percentage has been pointed out is much higher than he showed. To your point, was this rock bottom for him? Perhaps. I just think he has a lot of question marks that consistently come up.
Yeah.
Right, and so he isn't that number one necessarily. There's going to need to be a platoon that plays, and obviously the Oilers are going to try to play with better structure heading into next season. I think that's the whole point of bringing in a Babcock. Mm-hmm. But there is still a lot of stress to the goaltenders. I said on ONR on Friday that the player that might benefit the most from a coaching change might be Jari.
Could be.
Right? We don't know. It's a fascinating element of goaltending is voodoo, right?
Yeah. Well, let's wrap up these with just a couple of the Oilers-related trades that happened over the weekend. It was more players leaving the Pacific Division and coming in. Mm-hmm. Which was interesting.
Yeah.
Pavel Dorofeyev going to the Rangers for a first in this year, first in 28, and a third, and they paid him, $11+ million? Vegas got out well on this one, I think. I think
Yes.
Dorofeyev being obviously a 30-goal scorer, he showed up well in the playoffs as well. But I still think he's relatively unknown in some ways. Like, he's only a third, fourth-year guy in the league, right? Maybe the Rangers catch fire here and he just continues on doing all this and his money looks great. I just think it's interesting, kind of a under-the-radar player has 2 great seasons and all of a sudden close to $12 million.
Well, he puts the puck in the net.
Yeah,
and
that's hard to do.
And, 37 goals this past season, 35 the year before that, is crawled his way from a third-rounder to depth piece to all of a sudden the leading goal scorer on a Vegas squad. 64 points total last year. He isn't as much of the playmaker type, so you're paying 11 for a guy that you want to be the feature goal scorer on a Ranger team. It seemed like he wanted the money. Rangers get their Russian. They love a sexy Russian goal scorer playmaker. That's been their MO in the 2000s. They love getting those type of players. I don't know where this puts the Rangers. I don't know what the Rangers are.
I remember when we had Dennis Bernstein on, probably around the trade deadline. I was right when they got Panarin, of course. Mm-hmm. We were talking to him, and I feel like the Rangers are similar in the sense of, like, you can't rebuild in these cities. Like, there's no time to waste because there's so many other teams that are already pretty much ahead of you anyway, especially in New York and LA. They're like, no one cares to come and watch you just get beat up every single night. Like, you can have, like, downtimes, of course, but, like, got to be on the aggression every single night. And I think they did this with Dorofeyev. I think they did this in the draft too with Albert Schmitz, who will probably play for them next season when you look at his resume.
Yep.
So it's like, let's just keep pushing along here. And the top 6, I think, is relatively fine. Dorofeyev does add to it, of course. It's now Dorofeyev, Zibanejad, Lafreniere is the first line on daily faceoff, then Cooley, Trocheck, who we'll see what happens with him, and then JT Miller as well. But then that bottom 6 isn't really appealing. I think they'll still struggle to compete as a top dog in the Metro. But this is probably a kind of player that they needed to go and get anyway.
Well, they want to draw.
Yeah.
Look, they're playing in a city, too, that has now an NBA champion, that plays in their building, that is owned by the same owner.
Right.
The Rangers tried to rebuild. Jeff Gordon was rebuilding them.
Yeah.
And then he got canned after Washington bullied them. After Tom Wilson bullied them on the ice. And I think that story
wrote the open letter.
Right? And there was then a whole lot of consternation. They got a little lucky in winning some lotteries or moving up. Mm-hmm. And that cycle just hasn't proved, when you get the 1 and 2, it's Lafreniere and Kakko. As opposed to, what if it was Celebrini and
whatever else, yeah.
A 1-2
Misa,
like that, right?
Something like that.
That's the nature of the game there. So, yeah, they probably do need to tear down. That still sounds like Trocheck is getting
moved
offers at the very least. Fox, it got a little hairy there. You have a coach. It just seems a little toxic in the Big Apple,
Yeah, I agree. This will be the last one. Mason McTavish to St. Louis for 2 first-round picks.
The Blues are building this, I think, assembly squad of mid.
Like they already had?
I think McTavish is better than what he showed this year.
I agree.
But I do think his foot speed is a problem.
Yes. I don't think he can be quite as dominant physically as he was. Mm-hmm. And hasn't been able to adapt that into his game because his skating isn't as good.
Yeah, and that's I think the problem he's had. But this is why Anaheim, I wasn't just ready to anoint them after they beat the Oilers like a lot of hockey media was. Yes. They have a lot of restricted free agents this year. Big ones. The main focal points of their team, like Cutter Gauthier, for example. Leo Carlson, I think, is restricted.
I think so, yeah.
Verbeek is a grinder. Verbeek is not going to pay extra if he doesn't feel he has to. They will wait through July, through August, through September, through training camp. like they did with McTavish here, to try to get a deal done that fits both sides. So it was already, I think, some tender feelings, and eventually he gets moved. This is sort of what happened with Zegras and sort of what happened with Draisaitl.
Yeah.
So if Verbeek is going to play hardball and it leaves some, lasting tension, then it could be difficult here for Anaheim, right? Because how do they approach these other contracts? So, I mean, they've gone through a cycle here where the first half of their rebuild, those league guys are no longer there, which I think is interesting. But they have a lot of question marks that they have to get figured out, and Verbeek is a grinder as a GM.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't ready to be like, Anaheim's the beast of the Pacific now, because the Oilers were Anaheim in 2017, and the next year they didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
It's hard to keep doing it. I think San Jose as well seems to be on the rise, of course. Getting Stenberg this weekend was quite promising for them. But yeah, with the St. Louis side of things, I think they're good, obviously. I think they're a perfectly fine team. I think they've got a lot of talent. You look at their top...
That second wild card spot will not be safe if St. Louis has a hot March.
Dylan Holloway, Robert Thomas, Jimmy Snugger, top line. Connor McMichael, Mason McTavish, Pavel Buchnevich, sorry. And I mean, if he can refine his game, that'll be good for them.
They just max out in that 6 to 8 million tier, and Buchnevich has really hurt them. Like, he is not provided. Once he's gotten that money, he is not provided. Their decor, I'm not sure. I thought they made out all pretty well in the Kyrou deal.
Yeah,
all things
I agree.
considered. But now they need the picks that they had to pop, and they are banking on McTavish bouncing back. That there's a lot more to his story. But
any thoughts on, like, people keep talking about the Gudas and AJ Greer trade. It's obviously just happened, and there seems to be a worry that the Oilers aren't tough enough to compete, which I think is interesting. So Florida is, I think they're kind of obviously their own unique case. They go around trying to bully their way through hockey games, and it's obviously worked for them quite well. Does that worry you at all? Like, I feel like it doesn't bother me as much as it might for others.
I do have a bit of swagger.
Yes, I would agree. They lack that.
Yeah, they do need a presence that isn't one of the skill players that can affect the game that doesn't involve the puck. I know that was a little convoluted, my explanation is, but essentially, you have your skill guys. They can affect the game. They score goals. They do the things that are offensive that help you win games. But the other aspect of affecting the game, I think the Oilers don't do so well. I think we saw that last year, and that's where they missed the Perrys, the Canes, those types, right? That's why in November, when things weren't going well, it was lamb to the slaughter for Trent Frederick to fight Olivier.
Right.
Because they just got their ass kicked on Saturday Night Hockey Night Canada by Colorado.
Yeah.
And nobody did a thing about it, right? And so there does need to be some type of pulse, energy that exists beyond just, we score goals.
Yeah.
Power play either scores or doesn't.
Because Florida also scores goals.
Right.
They score a lot of goals.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and people could think of Greer, just lifting up Frederick, backslamming him. That was an emotional game in late November. You fast forward to March with a depleted Florida lineup, and you just got nothing on home ice in your one game at home in the Stanley Cup final rematch. So, look, I do think the Oilers need more of that type of gamesmanship, more of that energy, more of that je ne sais quoi that you hope Frederick was going to be, or that's at least, I think, the thinking that was behind
I think so too,
an extended contract. I do think the Oilers need some element of that, because 84 games is a lot of games.
Yeah.
Never mind if you want to play 20 plus more. Like, you do need those emotional drivers to help when it's a Tuesday night in Philly, right? And you got a long road trip, and now what? We're in the battle now, right?
Especially to knowing, like, the Oilers are obviously one of the top teams in the league, whether you disagree or not, that is how they're looked upon. Every night they go to one of these, like, well, honestly, any building, they've got a target on their back. Is like, we want to be the best. We want to beat Connor McDavid. And you're going to get everybody's best basically every night, 9 times out of 10. And you need to show up on the Tuesdays in Philly or the Sunday afternoon in Ottawa, whatever it may be. And I think they do need to find guys like that this offseason. I do think people kept saying, is like, well, like Colton Dock's a guy. I do like the energy Doc brought, and I thought him and Trent Frederick played well together. That's why I never minded someone like, and he's not going to fight you by any means 9 times out of 10. But like, Curtis Lazar he was a hard player to play against. And you bring that guy back, I think he's a guy who is willing to bring it every night. Yeah. Whatever he can bring is, the limit is up for debate. But he's there, and you're getting it. And someone I always appreciated. We do want to talk a bit about free agency, and there's a lot of names in here.
Just a quick point on Doc. We're just not sure if he's an 82, 84 game guy.
Yeah,
yet.
I think he's at least a 65 game guy, I guess.
Right, whether that be some of the injury concerns he's had his last couple of seasons or just the nature of where his overall game is at. But I think that's what got people excited about Clattenburg. Clattenburg needs to jump. It seems like, and I don't know, I don't watch Baco, all that. The people that watch Baco, like Clattenburg was getting set because Colin Chalk had things that he wanted Clattenburg to do that he wasn't doing, and was starting to run around and take the penalties that you don't want to be taking as the games got more important.
Okay.
So I don't know if Clattenburg is, ready for the full-time call-up.
Yeah.
And I don't think it serves him as a player to be the guy who got scratched 60 times a year and is only in the lineup and only plays 20, 25 hockey games in a season.
Because I don't think he's skilled enough to do that.
Right.
He needs the ice time. But I do think that, like, for Clattenburg, for example, let's say you get to early December. All of a sudden, he's played majority of the games in the American League. It's like, okay, we need a bit of a spark. You can just do what you did again last season. And then I think at that point, if he comes up and he's kind of like an in-and-out guy, that might be a little bit better. But I don't think you can do that from night one.
Yeah. Yep.
Where it's like you're just there till May, seeing what you can do.
They say Jones is an option. Jones is getting re-signed.
Yeah, I did like Oil to the Max, and I would like my T-shirts.
We are fans there. Yeah. They always have some elements of that. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's.
They don't have the name value for it. If you know what I mean.
Right. That might be something that could grow internally.
Yes.
There could be more there than what we saw a year ago because a lot's changed.
Yeah. And
you're losing Nurse. And
Darnell,
Nurse doesn't show it all the time, obviously. But when the few times he does, he is a voice. He is a guy who can settle things down if those moments did come. Anyways.
A couple comments, and we'll get on to the first question, middle of the show. DJ Brooks said, Clattenburg needs to improve his puck skills if he wants to be an NHL player. He doesn't have to fight everyone that challenges him. If he improves that, he can have an AJ Greer type of career. I think that's pretty much what you were saying, and we agree with you, DJ Bricks. Sergeant Battle says, I'm not saying Clattenburg is the answer, but he's a good call-up option. But you got Doc and Freddie, and I think Semensky could use his size a little bit more too. Bashan said, Menzies is right. But there's more. But there's a but right after.
But? Yeah.
But we need to find our Zach Benson, not Mason McTavish. We need to find that role guy for cheap, not pay someone who is beginning the back nine of his career.
Well, you know this because you scout in the Western League.
I do.
That those types of players that have the agitation type of role with puck skill that would have filled out more at even like the junior A levels now are sought at like the Western League because that is what is in short supply.
Yeah.
Puck skill is becoming, as the game has grown at lower levels, puck skill has gotten more universal. Obviously to varying degrees.
Yeah.
But those types of things that you kind of have if you, or don't, that are kind of a natural part of your personality, I think are more well sought after by higher levels. And then that all bleeds through to
I think as well,
college and pro.
Like, people like the agitated stuff for sure. But, like, and I'm sure many of you know this too, it's like, it's not really about it's about puck skills for sure, but puck skills kind of go out of the way slightly if you can skate.
For sure.
If you can skate and then you can play, is kind of where like a lot of, I would say, executives and scouting minds' heads are at in most cases. Like, I think of Kleinberg, I think he's a perfectly fine skater. He can play. He showed when he was up here. Like, he can keep up with the pace. I'm like, look how he scored a goal.
Yeah.
He just was at the net.
Yeah,
he just slid
absolutely.
it 5-hole. And it's like, puck skills are very important. I do not want to, like, downgrade how important that is. But it's like, if he can improve them even just a little bit, I think he has a great path to get into the league. And I think most prospects are on that level, to be honest. Marcus says, any word of if the development camp will be open to the public? I didn't see anything in the press release that said it would or wouldn't be, to be honest.
They typically have.
Yeah, it says it will be taking place at Rogers Place this week from the 30th to the 2nd. Yeah, it doesn't say. We will get into a little bit of draft stuff later. But
it doesn't say in the press release. That's far,
But usually it's at the downtown community rink and it's open there, so I'm not sure. But the Oilers have really mixed up their idea for a development camp in recent years. A couple of years ago, they weren't even on the ice.
Right.
They just did inside stuff. But if you didn't hear, they invited 3 female hockey players. I'm assuming they all played college. Admittedly, I don't know a ton about women's hockey.
Wow.
But I know Chloe Primarino, terrible with names. If you watch the show, you know that, is awesome. And will honestly probably be the best skater at this camp.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that they've gone ahead and tried to give these women an opportunity to skate with who would be, I guess, NHL prospects for the most part.
So Murphy and Primarano, University of Minnesota.
They're both there, okay.
Kramer, Minnesota, Duluth.
Duluth, there you go.
So 2 heavy hitters.
Moving on to the first question.
When I'm on shows, man, I know you like a tight 60 minutes here in the off season, but when Menzies gets, I got a lot to say.
Let's keep rolling. I'll go for a couple hours. Who's stopping us?
Whoa, okay, let's go. Yeah.
The first question
is the juice box. Feeding another juice box, baby. Let's go.
First question is brought to you by Capital GMC Buick. Built for Edmonton drivers, Capital GMC Buick offers an extensive selection of premium GMC vehicles, including the 2026 GMC Terrain Denali and the 2026 Sierra Denali Ultimate. As one of Alberta's most trusted GMC realtors, Capital GMC Buick is known for its premium selection, award-winning customer experience, and commitment to helping customers find the right vehicle at the right value. So close to a perfect ad read. From sales to service, Capital GMC Buick is a full-service dealership with certified technicians dedicated to keeping your vehicle performing at its best. Check out the dealership at 34 Ave Northwest or online at capitalgmcbuick.ca. Jesus.
If you want to slide it over, I can.
I can do this.
Yes.
Okay. Knockout Panda. Liam feeling better after the juice box, I guess. Yeah, Ryan says sugar rush. It feels that way, to be honest. My throat is very sore, though. I'm not going to lie to you. But let's keep going.
Do it.
First question. 5 players you want the Oilers to sign. The free agency, we'll probably hear a lot more, I would say, as obviously the day progresses today. Maybe tomorrow, typically the day before free agency, you know at least like the top. I would say at least 2/3 of the top 20, you know where they're going before the day really begins.
Yes. You typically get that figured out. I got signed out from my Google Doc here that had my 5 names. I don't like.
Yeah, and let us know in the chat too. Knockout Panda says 5, just 5.
Just while the Oilers can't be too busy.
No,
free agency.
They can't be. You can, and also too, like, it doesn't have to be like the best 5 players. It can be like, hey, like the Oilers need a 4th-line center. I like this guy. For people in the chat too, so let us know. Joe Opinionated said, "Have you got your doc? Are you good?"
I'm good. Yes.
Okay, we'll do this one.
My Colton doc.
We'll read a couple here, and then we'll let you get to it. Knockout Panda says, Matthias Michelli is an interest of mine. Soup says Carson Soucy. That could be Soucy. Joe Opinionated said Ekholm is not a first pair defenseman. I think he hit a major roadblock in his career, major step back last year. The routine unknown says Perry for the right price. And DJ Bricks. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but for your list. But he did say it seems inevitable that we are getting Ilya Mikheyev.
Well, he's not on my list because I too had the sense that it is that we are getting Ilya Mikheyev and you're gonna like it.
Yes.
Because why? Because he one time played in Chicago. And that seems to be a big
prerequisite.
Key, a big key to Stan. There are other teams, Stan. There are other teams.
I don't believe you.
So, yeah, Mikheyev does seem to be there's some strong indicators out there. I did not have him in my 5.
But because you think he's something.
But I kind of think that's where the Oilers are leaning. I know you told me view it. I'm role-playing as Stan Bowman.
Yeah.
I role-play as Stan Bowman a lot. I try to get in, and it's... I'm going to play this as Michael Menzies.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can be Michael.
Okay.
For once.
Finally. This identity crisis can end.
Who's you got? Who's number 5?
Number 5, Kasperi Kapanen.
Bringing him back.
Yes,
Cheeks.
I there's some familiarity there. He seems to like the market here in Edmonton, and we
Did
know,
well.
and he, did well. This is price an item. This is about whether I get it. He probably doesn't have too many more goes at making some cash here, but this would help him. He doesn't have to move. Does he want the glory of potentially chasing a Stanley Cup? We know that he can play on a line with Draisaitl if needed.
Yeah.
So amongst all the names that are out there, Kapanen is an interesting name to me, and I wouldn't necessarily shut the door on that conversation. So Kapanen is on my list.
AFP Analytics has Kapanen projected at a $9.3 million total cap hit over 3 years. That would work out to be $3.1 million on average. He's 29.
Mm-hmm.
Would you spread that out one more year and try and get it under $3 million, or how would you be like, hey, yeah, that's fine over 3 years? Because it's interesting in the sense of like Kapanen when he's available, he's a reliable player for the Oilers. The problem is when he's available. So,
yeah. So yeah, it's price united for me. If you can get, if it's like 3 times 2.8, like I would try to look similar to what Podkolzin's contract is in that range, and even then, it's sort of dependent on other things that you chase. But I have time for Kapanen, if the price is right.
Pods, for those who don't know, $2.95 million. That kicks in this year. I would say something else for Kapanen. Get ready for that no movement clause, baby.
Wow. Yeah. That's just an Edmonton
tax
gift bag. Here it comes. Yeah.
Oh no.
Apparently Brazil
snag it at the end.
Yeah.
Hate to see it. Yeah. Martinelli, 96 minutes. Too bad. Japan's a fun team. Next one, number 4.
Oh, do you have a list, or is it just
No,
mine?
just
It was just me. I didn't know. I thought we were trading.
No, not trading. No
number
trades.
4, just to dispel any Connor Ingram. Already talked about him. I have the other 3 are not current Edmonton Oilers. My whole idea here is not just to run last year's team back, but as I laid out earlier, I have time for Ingram. You're still going to explore the goaltending market, but there does seem to be, I think maybe the strongest relationship between player and team of the current pending free agents. I have time for Ingram. There could be a want there. He's from Canada. He likes playing in Canada. Mm-hmm. He got a taste of it. There was a good relationship with the fans. I think Ingram has more to give than what we saw last year.
I think so too. Tomas P says we have the most no movement clauses in the league. 9. Get ready for 10. A 10th one is coming.
Right.
It's coming, I promise you. Something along those lines. Number 3. I would bring back Ingram too, for the record.
And again, we're not signing all these. You can't sign all these players. It's just a list. Mario Ferraro.
Oh, very interesting. He would honestly be the last free agent I would sign.
Really?
I
the last one.
Yeah,
on a desert island.
He seems like a good guy. Vibes are good. I just think he's going to get paid so much money for not being worth it.
This could be the case.
Yeah.
This could be the case for sure.
But
if he is willing to take a reasonable contract, you see it. I mean, I could see getting the left side filled out, not via the nurse trade.
I agree.
Then that could free you up, because I do think the Oilers, like, my guess is that they're looking to get a defenseman back. That's how they're going to do their business. If they don't necessarily need a defenseman, that opens them up to what would come back or what those trade circumstances are. So,
what would you pay for our AFP analytics?
Yeah, now I need the contract.
Okay, well, not to throw you under the bus.
Well, I wouldn't go more than... You wouldn't go more than Murphy.
The AFP Analytics has him projected as the highest paid defenseman.
Whoa!
Outside of, Anderson and Carlson.
I'm just looking at the wish book here. I know my parents can afford it.
Yeah, I know my friends. So he is currently projected... Sorry, there's a few guys. They've moved this around, actually, since the last time I checked.
Update the analytics.
$20.5 million projected contract over 4 years. So $5.1 million for Mario Ferraro. I just think the Ferraro isn't a fit here because he doesn't have any offensive tendencies in his game. And that would be my worry. And I know you want, shutdown guys, but, I don't know. I feel like I can find Mario Ferraro for cheaper. But I love your list.
Perhaps you can. The Wallman playing the 2 LD spot makes me more time for someone who might be a little bit more
defensive.
Yeah. Puck skill limited. So,
what would you be happy with Wallman being your second D? I think you kind of.
I think you have to.
Yeah. Especially with Joe.
You will like it. It is going to happen.
Joe Opinionated obviously said earlier that he thinks that Ekholm took a step back. And I mean, I don't think he was I don't think it was as drastic a piece of make it out to be. I don't think it was not noticeable by any means, but I think he might get to a point in the season where Ekholm has to be reduced and Wallman keeps climbing up.
Well, Wallman, for the course of his contract,
he's going
to have to be. There will be conversation, but he might be the top pair defenseman.
Yeah, him and Bouchard.
2 years from now.
The year after, yeah.
Next year after, whenever that day comes, Ekholm will continue to fall.
Yeah.
It's just age. Two more. Mason Marchment.
I'm a big fan. I've come around. People in the chat.
Again, and it's I don't even feel super strongly about any of these free agents. Don't put in the newspaper that, I did. But... to your point, I think Marchment is probably going to get overpaid.
I don't think he will.
You don't think so?
But sorry, go on.
Well, my only point being that again, this is going to be, you're going to look at the free agent class and you're going to get sucked into, okay, he's had a couple seasons where he's put up goals and points. He's frisky. Mm-hmm. He can lay a big hit. He gets in. He creates scrums. The Oilers, again, might already have this player. I would not overpay for Marchment, but again, looking at the profile of the type of player, I can see this. Now, internally in the locker room, they may just hate his freaking guts. They may not like him as a human, but I like that he brings some of that. I don't like his playoff numbers. He's not been a great playoff player. Mm-hmm. And even offensively, and Dallas fans, for as much as we know he knocked out Hyman from the playoffs in 25. Marchment did a lot of other running around. He can take a bad penalty. But with that said, 19 goals, 45 points. He's an interesting player. I would be in the conversations. I would explore what those numbers are.
AFP Analytics currently has Marchment projected at a contract, wrong one, of $5.6 million over 3 years.
Yeah.
$17 million. He struggled in Seattle. Zach and I did a deep dive on this. Defensively, if I'm remembering correctly, it was fine. He played more with Eberle and Beniers, and then he went to Columbus and played with Fantilli, and I forget the other winger off the top of my head. But numbers skyrocketed. Did really, really well. I think he ended up being, his season finished like on pace for like 70 points just from his time in Columbus. Mm-hmm. I think that shows me if he can be on like an offensively capable team, he can be fine player. Defensively, he seems like he's decent enough. I don't know. I kind of appreciate the game that he has. And I think if you're able to get him at that contract, I know he's like 30, 31, isn't he?
Yes.
Something like that.
Sneaky old.
31. He doesn't have old, many games.
Turning 30, or no, he just turned 31. Just turned.
So he only has 370 games played with 59 playoff games. There's not a ton of NHL tread on the tires. I'm kind of in on him.
Right.
And I wonder, in a way, if you can get eventually a Zach Hyman value out of him. Mm-hmm. Like, can Mason Marchment, can he ever get to 30 goals? Maybe on the Oilers, playing with McDavid or Draisaitl. I don't know which one he would play. I would assume probably Draisaitl at this point.
Yeah.
I would have serious interest in him. And I think also, too, like I was reading something from Don Lecision. He said his model projected him, I'm sure it was close to $8 million. Like what his market value will be.
Right.
But AFP Analytics is down to like 5.1, I think, so whatever. And that's what Dom said in his article, too, is like, he's being really undervalued for the production you've got out of him.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in. I like him.
Yeah, I could see it going both ways. I could see him being the David Clarkson free, the big contract that it's like, oh man, okay, now there's expectations on him.
And also, too, we talked about it before we dove into this. If you want to get tougher, he'll scrap. He's a bit of an asshole to play against, too. He's heavy. I don't hate it.
Yeah. One more, and this guy has not. I have yet to hear this guy's name at all. Yes, really,
not McKay.
Probably because there's not a great chance he wants to play in Canada. I want Kane.
Evander?
Patrick Kane. Huh? No one is talking about Patrick Kane.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because I think there's a belief that he wants to stay in the U.S.
Okay.
Which is why I would approach him with try to get for a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Because Patrick Kane has also talked about that he wants to play important games.
And he hasn't done that the past few
years.
Since he left Chicago.
He played, obviously, in the bubble. That Hawks team beat the Oilers. Played 9 playoff games that year. When he was acquired by the Rangers at the deadline in 22-23, 6 points in 7 games. Kane, 67 games played last year, 16 goals, 57 points. He still can play.
Definitely.
He still can play. And this would be for the type of people that are looking at a top 6 winger as a need. Stan Bowman made Patrick Kane a rich, rich man.
Yep.
There has to be some type of relationship there. Hopefully. Kane, 1 year, hopefully somewhere in the 3 to 5, something like that. I would have time for that contract. I would. You would now have another option of power play. You could split to 2 power play units if that group wanted. I think he wants one more run. 3 Stanley Cups. He's already probably the greatest U.S. player ever. He could add to that mantle. The Stanley Cup champion element of it, I like a lot. And he wasn't riding the bus. He was driving the bus, helping drive that bus. So, again, maybe that's something his battle points out in the chat. Be more bonus laden.
Because you could do the 35-plus contract.
Right.
Where you give him, let's just hypothetically, $1 million.
Yeah.
You get this, and this accomplished this season. We'll give you another $2 million next season.
We want to have a little fun and excitement on
I love
free
Patrick
agent
Kane.
frenzy.
He's one of my favorite players to ever play in the league.
Right,
so entertaining, just very iconic player during his time with Chicago. It's kind of a shame to just see him like dwindle away in Detroit the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, you're kind of irrelevant. But even doing that, like, he had, where did I put it here? Last season, he had 16 goals, 67 games, 57 points. He is 37 years old, and those are very respectable numbers.
And as pointed out, he has a questionable personal history. He'll fit right in.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The last time...
There is that.
So he played 7 games of the Rangers in the playoffs in 23. Played the 9, like you said, in 20 with Chicago. The last time he went on a deep playoff run past what was the first round. I know technically the qualifying round was maybe the first round in 2020. It's been over 10 years since he went past the first round with Chicago when they won in 2015. That was the last time he played outside the first round. Actually, yeah, of course.
It chapped his ass, the U.S. team.
Yeah.
Didn't even consider him. Didn't even think about him. Stan, get on the phone. You have Patty's number.
Should still have it.
Don't tamper, but
yeah, but maybe give him a ring.
But maybe just to talk, just as friends.
Yeah,
you have a friendly relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's a list. I don't really expect. The one I expect the most maybe is Ingram at maybe a 30, 40, 50% signing. These other guys, I think there's a good chance to get priced out, but I just haven't heard Patrick Kane's name out there a whole lot
with anyone.
Yeah. Right? It's been a real back burner. I think a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very intrigued to see what a 1-year deal to bring Patrick Kane to Edmonton would look like.
So there you go. So number 5, Kapanen. Number 4, Ingram. Number 3, Ferraro. Number 2, McTavish. Number 1, Patrick Kane.
That's right.
Thank you, Stan Michael Menzies.
Yeah. Many names. Many names.
Last segment we'll do a little bit of draft talk for our friends at GMC. We'll do a little bit of draft talk for our friends at Prairie Toyota Dealers.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it, check out the Toyota Tacoma. Its standard iForce Energy boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. In fact, it's the most powerful Tacoma ever. So whether you're hauling gear to the rink or heading to an away game, you can tackle it with ease. The available panoramic multi-terrain view monitor gives you the live underfloor view to navigate even the toughest terrain with ease. When it's time to load up, the available power lift gate makes loading your gear in and out a cinch. Experience, power, capability, and convenience with Toyota Tacoma. Now you can lease the 2026 Toyota Tacoma from $110 weekly or 5.69% APR for 60 months with $7,099 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer. It's time to Toyota.
It's time. You know how many points Patrick Kane has?
Korea?
Yeah.
I think it's 1,400.
That's a very good guess. It's correct. On the nose. Unbelievable. What's in those juice boxes?
Sugar.
Yeah.
Oilers need 5 picks at the NHL Draft on Friday. I guess they all made them all on Saturday. First pick came 58th overall. They traded down.
They did trade down. Their original pick was the 52nd pick. As the pick approached, they traded down with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And that's where they got their 5th rounder. So they traded on 6 selections down to 58.
So they got... Tell me what's this guy's name again?
Rudolph Burzkowns. Burzkowns.
There you go. From Muskegon. Malcolm Gastrin. If Gastrin sounds like a familiar name, it's because he just got traded from Washington to St. Louis.
Yes.
His brother did. They got him with the 84th overall pick from Modo. Andrew Robinson, a defenseman from Windsor Spitfires, drafted 133rd overall. In the 5th round, Caden Harvey, who's an American playing in Windsor, goes 180th. And then the 7th round pick, their final pick, 212th overall, they took Ryan Cameron, who is a draft plus 1 goalie from the Cedar Rough Riders. One thing I'll say about the 58th overall pick, Rudolph Burzkowns, I think. Burzkowns. Expect his name to be called tomorrow in the CHL import draft.
Yeah, you were saying.
I think he's very likely to come play, I guess, for the most part, across the border. There's a few, obviously, American teams sprinkled across the CHL.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see him finding a home there. I would assume, being obviously a second round pick, he probably goes in the first round of that draft too. We'll see where he goes.
And they said because he does have a commitment to BC. Yeah, I think it's Boston College.
Yeah.
That the plan is for him to play another year junior, and that's probably right.
Yeah.
When your offensive numbers are as low as they were in the U show, and NCAA, you've got that commitment already. It's probably good. Like play another year junior. It's
no
not
rush.
There's no rush. It's not going to hurt him. Play in the Western League if it's a Western League, or play major junior. Play another year, and that seemed to be part of the mindset of the Oilers here, is sort of some staggered development.
Yeah.
Looking at the longer term, and he seems to project. And, as more of a bottom six guy. He's a big center, big body, seems to have good, Pracey talked a lot about sense, skill, and compete as their key indicators. And so that compete and sense seem to be the big ones here. And he seems to be hard to play against at that level. So let's see where that projects out, right?
The Oilers seem to be in no rush to get any of these guys to the NHL.
No.
Like they're
No.
more than happy. These kids all take the long way around. 4 of the 5 are currently committed to NCAA schools. I think Harvey is committed, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Let me double check that quickly.
Wasn't sure if
he is. He's committed to Penn State. So
yes,
Harvey's
Penn
committed
State.
to Penn State. Ryan Cameron is a BU goalie, I think, as well. Obviously, the Latvian we talked about.
I think BC as
was
well.
it BC?
Yeah.
Very hard to remember.
Yeah, BU, BC.
And then, of course, Andrew Robinson is committed to Providence, which Rick Pracey brought up in his press conference too. Stephen Ellis graded the Oilers draft from Daily Faceoff as a B-. How do you say his name? Burt Callens? Sure. Burt Callens is doing a lot.
Say it quick.
He's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. I like him enough to consider him a future bottom 6 NHLer. I know he didn't produce much, but many players consider him an absolute pain in your you-know-what to go up against. Gastrin is a long shot, but decent, hard-working forward. Andrew Robinson was a bit off the board, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with his development. Robinson, Rick Pracey talked about a decent amount because he said that he lived 45 minutes away from Windsor, so I saw this team quite a bit. And he said it was interesting to note that as the season progressed, they really moved guys around so they could play Robinson more.
Right.
So I think that shows me a positive thing. And one other thing, too, which kind of reminded me in a way of Sam O'Reilly. Similarly, Windsor was a good team this year. I think they underachieved in the playoffs, but they had a lot of draft picks.
Yeah.
When you think of the London Knights, when the Oilers got Sam O'Reilly and even William Nicol in a way, those guys were very much like bottom 6 forwards for them.
Yeah.
But then your Cowens leave, your Denver Barkeys leave, whoever else. All of a sudden, the ice time opens up. And I think that's what the Oilers are kind of hoping for here a little bit too with this Caden Harvey fella. Just, hey, you're a bit restricted on minutes in Windsor this season. But he said they had a 3rd-round grade on him to get him in the 6th round, where they felt like that was quite promising.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't want to judge this group too heavily. I think if Oilersnation.com right now obviously has a lot of stuff on the draft, but graded everyone. Elite Prospects gave him B-. Bleacher Report, Elite Prospects B, Bleacher Report B-. The Athletic gave them a C. The Score gave them a D+. At the end of the day, the Oilers' first pick was 58th overall, and then they just took 4 guys who they just took shots on. I mean, if any of these guys play in the NHL outside of the 2nd round, I think that's a positive, a huge positive.
I liked Macbeth. I didn't do a whole, I didn't do a ton of draft prep. We're in the privileged position of having a competitive team that's chasing a Stanley Cup. So, our total mental energies, it's slim that's spent toward the draft. But I did talk myself into Macbeth as a good look. I would have liked him at 52.
Yeah.
They went a different direction, and they were able to pick up another pick because of it. Have we ever had a Latvian player before as Tomas?
3.
So
Christian Palace.
So yeah, who passed
away. And another name I'm just not going to be able to say.
Yeah, so Alexander Kirks, I think, is how you would say it. Kirks did play some NHL games for the Oilers in the mid-'90s, and Sergei Zoltok played a handful of games for the Oilers. So two have played, and 2 were drafted. So this is the 3rd drafted Latvian by the Oilers all time. So it's kind of neat. I mean, the Oilers have they're quite a global team.
Yeah,
in a way. Obviously, like with the rise of Draisaitl, obviously put Coles in, but they have dabbled in a lot of corners of the globe in order to build their teams.
So. It was actually one other thing Pricey said, which I thought was pretty cool. He said, I travel the world a lot with my wife. And I thought, right on, man. You were going to Sweden, you're taking the wife.
Take the wife.
It's one way to not get in trouble for scouting every weekend.
Yeah. If you're a scout, your wife has to like not having you around.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
it's
happy
a tough
marriage
one.
coming.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yes.
There was one other thing I wanted to know.
Like they looked at the bottom of the draft and tried to grade for some efficiency.
Yeah.
Where they were getting guys that they believe were undervalued, that weren't so high because they had maybe a more limited role at the moment with their teams, but had more to give, like Harvey, like Gastrin. With Gastrin played at 3 different levels this past year, U18, U20, and 4 games of men's league in Sweden.
Yeah.
So they like that perhaps. And he seems to have good stock. I mean, his brother was a 2nd rounder and was in that Cairo trade, as you alluded to.
I might be wrong on this, but I'm fairly confident his brother was the captain of the Swedish Halinka team when they came to Edmonton a couple of years ago. I think that's right. So, a bit of pedigree, I guess you could say that. Yeah. He was a good player to watch. Just a couple of notes before we wrap up the show, because it looks like we actually might go longer somehow on June 29th. Daxon Rudolph, definitely the biggest surprise of the first round, just where he went, not his ability.
I thought so.
4th overall. But I think people are really undervaluing how good he is. Like, he is a legit player. I also think in that same breath, and I understand he went to the NCAA, I think people are overvaluing Keaton Verhoff a little bit too much as well. I think when you compare Dax, Rudolph, and Keaton Verhoff to their time in the WHL, the numbers are fairly similar. I think they're just different players. I think Keaton is he's a really good player, and he definitely has a completeness to him. But I do like the extra toughness that Dax has. Upside offensively, I would say, flashy-wise, I think it's on Verhoff. But I think if I want like a legit guy who could be a number 1 defenseman, I think it's Dax Rudolph. And also, too, like, I think I said this to someone on the show. I was like, that guy will say something in one of his meetings that just forces someone to take him higher.
Yeah.
Like Frank Saravalli was talking about, they only spoke, like Buffalo obviously got this pick quite late.
Yeah.
And then they had to go through the process of drafting 4th overall, and it took them a while. Like, Dax was one of the last players they spoke to. And I think that just shows is like they have heard so much positive about him, and then you have your meeting with him. There you go. I think Dry said it there. Oh, no, man, it was the wrong one. You hear all these other players talk, and then you finally get to him, and he's like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. The other thing I thought that was cool to see was how excited Vigo Bjork was to get drafted by Winnipeg.
Yeah.
That's probably something that fan base needed, to be honest. And then, of course, the Ruck brothers end up both going to Pittsburgh together, which is pretty unbelievable. And then the last one, just cool story. We'll see how it pans out. But Jackson Cover being the first Cayman Islands player. My buddy, his family lives in the Cayman Islands. His cousin lives there, and they're friends with the Covers.
Really?
And yeah, he like didn't play ice hockey till he was like 13, I think it was. So it's pretty incredible to be that athletic, I guess, and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna get drafted to the NHL in 5 years.
Cayman Islands, Moldova.
Moldova.
The Sharks got Jaws back there with the 7-1 defenseman. My takeaways were all this Chase Reed hype.
Yeah, that was weird.
He slid. I asked a friend of mine who's coaching the O, like, just what do you think about Reed? And he's like, Yeah, there's lots to like, but I don't know. I like other defensemen more. A lot of different opinions on it, but we were hearing that maybe the Toronto should consider Reed at 1. So there was a lot of buzz about Reed, and it didn't seem to pan out with the teams that were selecting in their positions. The draft, and you didn't watch, so I'll comment as a viewer.
Okay.
It's tough.
There's a drag.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You got Bieber coming out to make the.
I heard that was terrible. I actually never went back and watched it.
It was just strange. It's like the bits that would have been left on the writers' room floor for the NHL awards are now being used for the draft.
Yeah.
Because in some sense, they told us, well, this would be quicker, decentralized. The teams
It wasn't, was it?
No. It wouldn't end. I watched 2 hours. I'm like, I'm going out. I'm doing something before it starts to rain and pour.
Yeah.
And it did. And by the time it stopped pouring, the draft was still on.
It didn't start till Sunday.
It goes on. And I just, look, there's no way you're going to make it a total entertainment, but it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Put the GMs on the floor. Let's see them on the phone. Who's walking over, talking to who? That could be the only exciting thing because we know the trades before they're announced anyway.
Yeah.
So that aspect we don't like. And then if you ever watch day 2 of the draft, they can't figure out. It's hard because the picks are moving fast, but the analysts are talking over the picks.
They can't get it nailed down.
You got on NHL Network, you got the off-brand Viagra commercials voiced by AI heading in the 6th, 7th round. You're like, yeah, we're here.
We made it.
We're here. Sam Cosentino going on and on. It's just, yeah. So they try to make a spectacle. It's easy to pile on the NHL, this type of stuff. I understand that. But also, it wasn't that great. And I think that the teams are the only ones who really like it. And I do think it's missing a little bit of that graduation feel that it used to have when the teams are there. They at least get that first-round picture. And somehow, when they were doing that, it was quicker than what they're doing now.
Yeah. Weird.
There's my draft.
There you go. You're clearly excited to watch next year.
Clearly.
You should try being in a draft room.
It's
not very fast moving either.
Some friends of mine, when the draft was in Vancouver in 2019, we went for the second day because we were already in Vancouver the night before. We were there for a concert. And we were just walking around. Like the draft, it's $20. And then we're in the upper bowl and we're like, why did we do that? What are we doing? What? There's nothing to watch. Bumping to Steve Dangle in the hallways.
Well, thank God. Something.
So,
last thing we'll get to, Bet365 stuff. World Cup still going on. I don't know if you heard. Brazil won, like you just told me.
Yeah.
Canada won yesterday. That was awesome. It was really fun to watch. I wouldn't say I'm a neutral, as I say here in my Canadian jersey.
Yeah.
I obviously want Canada to win, but
we've given you safe haven over here across the Atlantic.
The South Africans, I did feel bad for because I thought they also played a really good game. And I do think that game, and I tried to just mutual perspective. Again, I'm happy Canada won, of course. Probably deserved to go to extra time at the very least and then let the fates decide from that point. But Canada played well. It was great to see Alphonso Davies finally play for Canada. I think the one thing that was really promising for me is, obviously, one, he got on. But on the broadcast, I don't know how many caught it. They said that he's on a time limit. He can only play so much. So they did say as well that there's a chance that he could sub him on and have to take him off again, depending on when he comes on. So the fact that they brought him on with 15 minutes left, the game tied at 0, with no subs left, shows me his time count was 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Because if you go to extra time, it's an extra 30. That's great. He might be able to play if whoever Canada plays, it'll be the winner of Netherlands and Morocco. To be honest, I don't think either team is very easy to play against. Probably Morocco's the one.
It'll be a challenge. You're in the round of 16.
Yeah, it's a World Cup.
It's going to be a challenge, man. No doubt.
He could play the full second half of a game.
Yeah.
Or maybe 60 minutes onwards, depending on where you're at. But they might be able to go do that.
Yeah.
RJ. Hunter. Nobody cares about the Canada game. Then go watch a soccer podcast. Hey,
I
buddy.
know Hunter. He can kick rocks at the end of this. It's a once in a several generation moment, much like this rain is once in 100-year rain.
Yeah.
But I did feel it was going to be a garbage South African goal, and it was going to be a 1-0 loss because Canada had chances, baby. They had chances.
A lot of opportunities.
And the one thing with Davies, you can tell there's a difference in quality. The quality changes when he comes on the final third. Things can start to happen a little bit more. When not, it does feel like you're hitting your head against the wall a little bit. You're trying to be a little belligerent. They don't quite have the touch in the box. But great for Canada. It was very exciting. I got up. I yelled.
I did
the
too.
1-0 goal. Absolutely.
I watched with my nephew who turns 2 in just over a month. And we just as I got home, everyone celebrated. And he looked around and we were like, oh, goal. And he just looked at the TV, threw his hands in the air, and span it a couple of circles. He was fired up.
Yeah.
So it was great.
This is a rare occasion. And,
it's incredible. They won a knockout game.
Yeah.
Like that. They've never done that before.
Never won a game in the World Cup before this year's
they
tournament.
won 2. So I thought someone put this in a great perspective, and then maybe we can kind of put a close on the show. When Canada applied to host the World Cup, I can't remember what year it was, they were ranked 109th in the world. Today, they are currently ranked 30th in the world and in the final 16 of the World Cup. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, just progression of the program. This might be the best it ever gets.
Absolutely.
It might be the best it ever gets.
Yeah.
So I think just enjoy it. Like, if you can get into it, if you're like Hunter and you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. It's fine, whatever. No one's forcing you. But, like, don't shit on people for enjoying the moment. It is incredible. Again, this might never, ever happen again for Canada. So, how far can they go? I don't know how much further, but we'll see.
It'll be a memory for many people,
and
it's great for that. And we went 90 minutes today, man.
There you go.
So there's lots of talk. I mean, we have the QOs for the Oilers. I mean, we didn't touch on it much, but you know, we touched on it off the start. They qualified Doc, Traventia, Michaels, and Stasny. I don't know. As these go, maybe 1 out of 4 accepts their qualifying offer. The key was that they had to submit them, or they were going to lose them, like they did with Josh Bloom, and Bloom was acquired via Vancouver.
I've never heard of him before.
I just remember writing the trade article. Digging Canucks Army, digging deep. You know, where was Bloom? Bloom was the 14th ranked Canucks prospect,
nice.
such and such, and Petrov. Well, we talked about off the start. So
there you go. I think Tyler's back tomorrow. He's gone, but we'll do a show tomorrow. And I think I'll probably need you back on Friday.
Sure.
And then maybe Wednesday we can do some O&R stuff. But we'll have you fully covered for all the free agent stuff coming up. World Cup stuff you can actually watch on the 90th Minute Daily. They had a new show today if you want to go get up to date with that. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully healthier.
Yeah, big time.
There you go.
More juice.
Yep. Well, we'll see you guys later. Oil up.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.